Yo, 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 what is up, my dudes? You already know we back at it again with another video. We're still working on Frito's car. We gotta get the trans set up. I got a drill for that. We gotta repair those threads, have inserts, so we'll be golden. The bolts will tighten up, be straight. My landlord actually moved all the dirt that was here. Now we have like a lot of parking. And I'm trying to leave like open space in case we need anything delivered. You know, we have a dock, but we have all this parking space now. Also, my brother's Accord, we brought that over the other day. My buddy Joe came down and towed it for us. I appreciate that, man. He helped us out a lot. So now that this stuff is moved, that thing sounds beautiful. Now that this stuff is moved, we can park stuff here. So I'm gonna move the Accord over here eventually. Not sure when I'm gonna do that, but it's gonna be soon, so that, because that's not my space over there. I don't want to take it over or use it if I'm not paying for it. You know, trying to just be courteous. But I also got gas today for the welders, which was expensive. I did not realize how expensive it is. But I got 2 bottles. I got 100% argon for the TIG. 100% argon for the TIG, and then 75-25 argon carbon dioxide for the MIG. That's what I was told that would work best. Obviously the argon for the TIG, but the mix for the MIG. And be on the lookout for these MIG and TIG unboxing. I'm gonna do both of those in one video, unbox them for you. I haven't even opened them yet, so I don't know what they like. I mean, I've seen what they look like on the site and stuff like that, but good investments right there. I'm ready to start fabricating. We need to start making charge pipes for this. The CRX is gonna get completely touched. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of stuff to do here, so hopefully I can learn quickly with that TIG, pick up welding aluminum and pick up welding steel, and possibly even make like manifolds and stuff. So I'm excited. I'm super excited. But I'm gonna go turn the CRX off. Just wanted to warm it up a little bit, and then we'll get cracking on Frito's car and finish that thing up. All right, so I realized that I did not have a drill. I have a small impact driver, which is, right here, Bauer. But I didn't want to use this to drill because I need to drill into here. So I picked up another Bauer tool. Picked up a Bauer hammer drill. It has the hammer effect, screw, drill, speed adjustment, forward, backwards, obviously. But I had the battery over here charging, so I got the, this is the bit that comes with the kit. I've had the kit because the CRX, when it was single cam, the trans bolts were stripped. So I got the kit. This is the thread bolt kit, M12x125. Comes with everything you need, new threads, the tool to put them in, the thread maker for the threads to go in. So basically you drill it out, you make new threads with that, with the tap. Then you screw these threads in with the middle tool, and then I'm not even sure what the last tool is for, but maybe you tap on it with a hammer. I don't know what the instructions say. Whatever, they're just pictures. But yeah, I got that, so we're gonna take care of that soon. Get that done. Once that's done, we can clean the trans up, lubricate the throttle bearing, and get the trans off, put the new clutch on, and get this thing ready to go back in the car. All right, so before we get to that trans, I actually got some orange detailing wipes, cleaning wipes. I mean, I assume it's probably for interior, but it is actually cleaning up a lot of the stuff I could not get off. So I am going to, you can see the brightness difference. I'm going to clean the whole bay real quick with these, and we'll see what it looks like. And here's a before and after. I'm not sure if you guys can even tell, but there was a lot of still dark stuff that I cleaned up. So this actually looks pretty damn good, to be honest. Yarrow and Frito are coming down. We got a B2 head that we're gonna put the cam in from this, so that we can have like a little bump in power. So that should be good. We've got to do the gasket here, and that's literally it. Put the clutch on. do the bolt holes, which I'm gonna start getting on right now, and then put the motor in the car, send it. So we're gonna get cracking on this piece now and get these bolts corrected. All right, so these two are stripped pretty deep. So we're going to drill them to the bottom, and then we'll tap it, put the new threads in, and we should be golden. So when you do this, you definitely want to keep the drill straight. So like straight up and down. You gotta kind of gotta find straight up and down. This doesn't take much material out. It just takes enough so that the tap can tap straight on in, and it'll almost guide itself. But you definitely want to make sure that you are straight in and not going sideways, because then the bolts will not bolt up and you'll end up stripping them whenever you put them back in. So you just got to be careful. I have my thing set on slow, so I'm going to just go slow and get it working and see how it goes. All right, we have our tap. Basically, you want to get it as straight as possible, and then with a ratchet or something, slowly start to twist it down in. Make sure it's straight, and then go until it like kind of gets snug. That's when it threads, like stop, thread it, and then you should be good. So I need to grab a ratchet or a wrench for that, and then we can get cracking. The top part of this is a 9mm. So as long as you get it started, get it kind of straight in there. And then you should be good to just start going down. That looks good. Let's see that real quick. So you can see the threads, which this will thread into, and then inside these threads will be the new thread for the bolt. But you can see the size of this versus how deep those are. This should sit right underneath the surface, so that you don't want it too low, because then you won't grab it barely, but you don't want it too high because it could pull it out. So you want it just under the surface, and you'd be Gucci. So I'm gonna get this other one done and see how well it bolts up. Okay, they are tapped. It's time to get the threads in. So it should start pretty easily. And then the tool slides in. You start to turn them down in until they're just below the surface. Oh, they also want you to put thread locker on too. I actually forgot that. Hopefully I can get this back out. No, it doesn't look like I can. So I'll just put some thread locker at the top, and I'll make sure I have thread locker on the other one. You don't want to use a lot because you don't want to thread lock the bolt in there. So now, as you can see, it's just below the surface, which is good. I have the one that I did on the side trans that's in my car, that was in my car. They are a little bit higher, but just below the lip is perfect. You can see how low the factory one is, but just below is all you need. No lower, no, definitely not any higher, but you don't want them too deep. So just below the surface is perfect. And then once they're finished and once they're down, there's an extra tool in here, because you're supposed to knock off the edge. And you don't need to hit anything that hard either. But the little piece at the bottom, this piece, there's a little nip in it, and you just hit it and it breaks off and it stays in there. But you need to clear it so that you can get the bolt down in there. The view here, man, it's crazy. It's so nice. Hopefully it gives good lighting here. Let me try and get this thing clean. Alright, boom. She looks spiffy. It's gonna get brake clean, you know. Looks alright. Both holes are fixed. That's fantastic. I'm going to take off the clutch lever. Well, not the lever, but the throwout bearing. Grease the shaft, grease the bearing, because I gotta clean that out. It sounds gross. I think it's because I brake cleaned it. So I'd probably have to get one before I put this in, but it was fine before I brake cleaned it. I'll have to check that out, but I'm gonna pull this apart now and grease that. Yarrow and Frito should be here soon. So that means we can start diving in and getting the B2 cam put in this. Also, that flywheel bolt that was dicked. So Honda uses the same flywheel bolt in the Fit. This is the same part number and the same length, everything. So the Honda Fit uses D series flywheel bolts, which is nice. Honda does know how to repurpose stuff. Everything is just can be used on other stuff. That's why I love them, man. It's like Legos. So we got that covered. Got a distributor for the OBD1 here. I have to get a cap. I'm gonna check the rotor. Hopefully the distributor is good, so we can throw it on, start the car, have ignition, and not have to worry about anything. Because we don't have a lot of time to waste, so we can't really slack. We can't have issues. So hopefully this all goes very smoothly. But as soon as we have the trans throwout bearing in, as soon as we have the B2 cam in this B7, we are gonna be slapping it in the car, probably in this video. Yeah, definitely in this video. And hopefully getting a startup. And I'll show you guys how to go through an S300 and set up your base map. Get it dialed for first start, what you wanna do, do's and don'ts. So we will cover that. But I gotta wait for them to get here. We can dive into this motor. Then tomorrow, same video, I'll grab the throwout bearing, put the trans together, put the engine in the car. Okay, Yarrow just stopped by. We were talking for about an hour or so. Dropped off the B2 head, so we're gonna get the cam pulled out of this, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna head home. It's kind of late. I'm feeling a little bit tired, a little bit sluggish. So we'll be here in the next clip, getting that cam pulled out, putting it in this engine. I also need to get a valve cover gasket, distributor cap, and also camshaft seal, so that we can get this thing buttoned up and get it ready to get put back in the car. So once that's done, don't think I'm gonna grab a throwout bearing because this one is fine. So I'm gonna actually use this one. The engine's not gonna be in the car for that long, so I'm not really pressed about if it's gonna work. Anyways, like I was saying, I'm gonna use that throwout bearing because it's still in good condition, and I think we're gonna have a hard time finding one. If it's cheap and I can find one, I'll pick one up. If not, we'll just use that one. That one's in good condition. So yeah, we're gonna get camshaft seals. We're gonna get all that tomorrow, so we'll be back in the next clip. All right, we back. It's definitely been a few days. It's been something like 4 or 5 days since the last clip. Actually, I think I came down with the vid, and yeah, I was literally fucked up. I went home that night and shivering, shaking, fucking, it was bad. I sweat my ass off, and I felt like garbage the last few days. But yesterday and today, the headache that I had has gone away. So I'm here. Can't smell, I can't taste really. I can taste sweet things, but whatever. I'm gonna get this thing cranked out, and then before it goes back to him, I'll desanitize it so you know he doesn't get sick or anything. But yeah, we back. I got the camshaft seal right here. I still have yet to get the valve cover gasket and the distributor cap, but I'll get that tomorrow. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we can start digging into the B2 cam. I mean the B2 head, so I can get that cam out of there, and we can get this kind of pulled apart and get this cam in here. Since it's on the engine stand, it's going to be super easy. Everything can come off super nice and like super quick, so it's going to be really simple and really easy to do. So I'm going to get cleaned up real quick, and then we will start pulling that thing apart. I got everything that we need here. I got the slim fan ordered in. I got that, it was delivered a couple days ago. We have the OBD1 distributor. I just need to get a cap for it and possibly a rotor. I have to see how well this one is, but definitely need a cap. because the cap from that one, the coil is on a different position, so we need a cap for that. But surprisingly enough, a Honda Fit uses the same flywheel bolt as the D series, so was able to get that too, thanks to Frito. He works at Honda, so he was able to cross-reference that part number and find that, which is really awesome. We have the B15 injectors, which I'm going to put in here. We got the camshaft seal, throttle body, gasket, and that's basically it. So I'm going to start, actually I'm going to probably pull the cam out of this real quick. It's pretty straightforward. These lift this up. So it's just extra head. We got this from JBS Tuning, Jonathan, on Instagram. Thanks, bro. I really appreciate that, giving this to us to help the cause. So we're gonna get this thing disassembled. We're gonna get that thing disassembled, and then we're gonna just mate them together. That's all we got to do. Throttle body, gasket, injectors, put the cam in, retime it, bam, and then she's done. One more thing we have to do. This Civic has the old mid pipe that I used to run on this car. We moved it over to that car because his exhaust was clapped, and I was like, yeah, just use it for a while to sound good. It sounds all right, but he two-stepped the hell out of it, and I put the spiciest two-step I could on it, so it makes some nice pops and bangs. So the resonator's pretty much hollowed out. So, but we're gonna use that on there. The only issue is the header is, you can see the flange is at an angle. The exhaust is basically like flat. That flange is like this, and the exhaust is flat. So I'm gonna try and get the unboxing of my welders video out before I cut this, just so, I mean, you know, they're in line. So I'm gonna have to do that soon. But I'm gonna do that, then cut this, MIG it, make sure it's good, and then we'll be on with the rest of the bullshit, you know? Getting this thing ready. Hopefully, if we can get this thing in and get it decent, like if I can get this in like 2 days. Motor in, everything buttoned up, and base map on and started in 2 days tops. Once that's done, then I need to schedule dyno time, and hopefully my buddy Joe that helped us move the Accord over, he said he'd be down to help us tow this car to the dyno. So that's great. I really appreciate that, bro. But we just need to make sure that Rollo has dyno time available. Now this car is not super intricate. The dyno is probably gonna take us an hour at most, because we just gotta rough in the cruising stuff, and then wide open throttle, find the best timing, find the best fueling, and then we're literally done. The rest of it can be solved at the track, and it will only see track time, so we can make minimal adjustments when we're at the track and stuff like that too. So it's all super easy to tune this thing, because there's one map. We don't have VTEC, so we're not gonna be working on 2 maps. We're gonna be working on just 1 map, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But so it's gonna be super simple. It's gonna be super quick. We're probably only gonna need like an hour, maybe 2 tops, but we just gotta get this thing in and make sure that we have the time later this week to get this thing to the dyno, and then hopefully get to Cecil, maybe Atco this weekend. Hopefully, maybe, not sure, but you know, if it's willing, you know, we'll try to make it happen so we can get this thing tested before he actually makes the event. And then this is the rocker arm assembly. If you can see this, it's under spring tension. It just pushed back on me. But this will spring open if you let it. So you just gotta be careful when you set it down that it doesn't like shoot open. It will want to, like this end piece just came off, but that's what the springs are there for, to keep tension on it, keep everything kind of where it's supposed to be. Now because this thing, the cam towers is kind of like a 2-piece, with the spark plug holes, there are seals underneath, because this is like you don't want to get oil in the spark plug holes. So there are gaskets here, and one of the gaskets is an oil feed to the cam journal. You definitely need to make sure this gasket is there. If it's not there, the camshaft will not get oil, and it will freeze up, basically. Camshaft is good. The only thing we have to do is pull it out, really, get the other one torn apart, and get this cam put in it, and get a new camshaft seal put on it, and we'll be ready to go. Just like that, camshaft is out. Wow, guys, I didn't think you could actually see a difference, but just looking at the cam lobes, you can see a significant difference. So this is the cam that came out of the B2 head, and then this is the B1 head. This came out of the Frito's engine currently, and then this is the B2 cam. See how much bigger, how much more lift is there? Like that lobe versus that lobe. Do you see that difference? I wish I had my micrometer, I'd measure it, but like, sheesh. Actually, I'm gonna grab my micrometer right now. We're gonna take a measurement and see how much more lift is on one of these, is on this cam versus that one. That's crazy. That's so nuts. You can see that lift versus that lift. It's tremendous, bro. It's gonna make this thing like stupid, bro. Like, that's crazy. That is such a big OEM difference. It's just nuts, bro. It's nuts. So real quick, I'm gonna save you guys the time. I'm gonna measure the lobe of each, and then I'm gonna come back with the numbers and share with you guys what I find out. Okay, you're supposed to use a dial indicator for this. So my numbers could be pretty incorrect, but this is what I got. So for the intake for the B2 cam, it's 36.55 millimeters, and the exhaust is 36.68 millimeters. That's the whole lobe. That's not, I did not get the base because this was already becoming, I feel like this might be inaccurate, but anyways, the B1 cam is 34.84 millimeters on the intake lobe and 35.41 millimeters on the exhaust cam. So it's 2 millimeters smaller on the intake and like 1 1/4 smaller on the exhaust. So definitely getting a good decent amount of power through that valve lift. Not to mention there's probably a little bit more duration, maybe not, but definitely more lift for sure. So that's gonna wake this thing up quite a bit and definitely make it a lot better than what it was previously. Now that much lift is pretty crazy if you ask me. For an OEM cam to find that much lift in another OEM cam is pretty good. That's like going from a base B16 cam to a CTR cam or an ITR cam. It's definitely a big upgrade in the OEM world. I just told Yarrow and Frito, and they were pretty stoked about it. To see the big difference, they were like, whoa, that's crazy. Blow me up. So I got the camshaft seal right here. I want to put this on the camshaft. I know that this engine has lube in it. It's got oil, but I'm going to use some of this ultra slick engine assembly lube. And I'm going to wipe out the journals, put this on there just to make sure everything is like, you know. And I'm going to clean up the stuff, make sure there's nothing that's going to cause any type of issues and stuff like that, because I definitely want it to go back together really nice and work until he's ready to pull it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this camshaft seal I'm going to go ahead and put this camshaft seal on and put the cam in the head, and we should be golden. Now with single cam stuff, obviously the springs, it's trying to push it apart, so you kind of gotta squeeze it together to get it to like fit and sit where it wants to. And then once it's down, basically all you do is you just tap it down on. Now they want you to hand tighten everything, get them snug, and then you torque them down. There are two different size bolts. There's short and long. The short ones go on these right here, and the long ones go in the end and the outside ones. There are two ones that look like this for the valve cover. They go in number 2 and number 5. They have numbers up here. This is obviously 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the 6 cam cover. There's 7, which is the small one that the distributor goes to, but 2 and 5 get the one with the bolt hole, the studs on top of them for the valve cover. Now the sequence for this is, you start at the 3rd cylinder, which is the 4th rocker, and you go 1, 2, 3. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you go 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm just going to get them snug so it sits down on the cam, and then I have to get batteries for my torque wrench, so we'll be back tomorrow to torque this thing up. But we can still, while we're here, get the injectors in, get the throttle body gasket on. So I'm going to sequence these down, not tight. I'm not torquing them yet. I need batteries, but once I get the batteries, then we can torque them down and the head will be finished. You don't want to just tighten it down right away because you can bend the camshaft or break it. You want to try and evenly tension it down so that you don't break anything. Alright, the cam's in, throttle body's bolted up, gasket is in, fuel injectors are in, looking really nice. They're clean, they're gonna flow great. Fuel rails tightened down, fuel pressure regulators tightened down. That's really all we're gonna get to do tonight because I need to get my torque wrench so I can torque these down. Then we need to time it and then do the valve adjustment because this cam is not meant for these rockers. So we have to go in and adjust the the valve lash so that it's accurate and it's going to be on time. Not going to be holding them open too long because too long means burnt valves. The longer the valve is on the seat, the colder the valve will be, which saves your valves. If they're on the seat too long, which means very loose valve lash, you'll have a lot of noise. But you find that sweet spot. I usually run them towards the edge of the tighter valve lash. That's just me though, that's my preference. But you get them adjusted and then we'll be able to slap the valve cover on, get this thing off the stand, get it bolted to the transmission and throw it in the car. Yeah, I'm gonna head home tonight and I'll see y'all guys in the next clip. All right, it's next day, we're back. I got batteries for my torque wrench. I picked up distributor cap. I also picked up valve cover gasket. So we're all good there. Just gotta get this thing back together and get it in the car. So let's get cracking. Alright, I'm going to take that as lined up. These marks are flat with the head, which that's how I remember how doing it. So I'm going to call that lined up. This mark looks a tooth off. So, you know, when I check the ignition timing, I'll be able to see if the cam is off timing because I'll have to move the distributor a lot one way versus the other way. So we'll definitely be able to find out through the ignition timing, but I'm pretty sure that's in time. So let's get this thing buttoned back up. Okay, I got the timing cover back on. Just gotta put the crank pulley on and tighten it down, and then we can start doing the valve adjustment. Definitely gonna need to do that since we threw the different cam in there, so I'll have to take care of that. Alright, so the intake adjustment is 7 thousandths and the exhaust is 9 thousandths. You can see that right there if you can see it. But you're going to do them all one cylinder at a time. So cylinder 1, 3, 4, and then 2. TDC will give you cylinder 1. Just want to make sure the rockers aren't on the cam lobe at all, which they're not, you can see. And then you just slide it in there. You want it to be somewhat draggy, but not too much, and then it's adjusted. I'm gonna skip through this because it's time consuming and you guys probably don't want to see all this, but alright, I got the valve adjustment done. I'm gonna go get something to eat. Although I can't taste or smell anything, I definitely need something to eat. I can feel myself getting tired, so I'm gonna grab some food real quick. When we come back, I'm gonna put on the valve cover gasket and I'm gonna get the trans set up so that we can I need help getting it off the stand again. Obviously, I'm not trying to lift it by myself. And then we can get them together and get them in the car today. So I'm excited, guys. Let's go. Okay, so Daddy made a boo-boo. There was a bracket here that was for cruise control, and the screws are really tight. And I have this tool. If any of you know what this is, you can put it on a screw and then you turn it to like box and you push it and then you hammer and it'll push and turn at the same time. It helps break the screws loose. Well, it did. I got this one out and then I was trying to do the bottom one and you can see there's no tab there because the fucking thing broke off. Now there's a fucking hole in the throttle body right here. So yeah, I made a boo-boo, but I grabbed some epoxy. As long as I epoxy this back on, we're not going to use this, but I want to fix the hole. So I can epoxy this back on and be good and never have to worry about it again because it's not a super detrimental piece, but I definitely want to take care of that hole. That was definitely an accident. But I'm going to do that real quick. And then literally I have to get plugs for this. But it just needs to come off the stand and we can start bolting everything up and putting it in the car. So I kind of have to wait for someone to help me get it off the stand. Hopefully someone can come through tonight and help me just get it off the stand. I can put it in the car myself. I just need to get it off. So we'll see what happens, but we'll catch back up in the next clip. All right, boys. So I got the throttle bearing from that trans on here. I got it all lubed up. I moved over the bracket. I moved over the reverse light sensor, although not going to need it. I just use it as a space holder because I don't want fluid to come out of there. So that's good. The trans is ready to go. Sadly, I cannot get someone here right now to help me get the motor off the stand, so I can't get the motor in. But my brother's going to come help me tomorrow morning. So we'll catch up in the next clip. Be putting the motor and the trans together and getting the motor in the car. Alright, we back. My brother decided he was going to help me, so we're here. We're going to pull this engine off the stand, get the clutch and firewall bolted up, and then put that bitch in the car. Alright, got the flywheel torque, got the pilot bearing in, I got the pressure plate on. Just got to make the trans to the bell housing, and then we can start putting it inside the car. No dowel pins. Gotta pull these ones out. Use them. Alright, got the dowels in. So we're gonna put this trans back on the engine again. Alright, we got the trans bolted up to the engine. The dowel pins are being a fucking bitch, but there it's together. It's gonna be a pain in the ass to get off. I know that for sure, but it's whatever. It's together. So we can start putting it in the bay now. I was also told to just get rid of the charcoal canister, so I'm just gonna pull this off, and then we'll just run one of these lines to the manifolds. That way any of the vapor from the tank will still be used and won't be spread to atmosphere, so that'll be nice. But this is gonna go by, and then yeah, we can start putting the motor in the car. Alright, so we just got the motor mounts in. Same way that we pulled the motors, the same way we're gonna put it in. Slide it under the car, put the jack under, put it on the plate, jack it up into place, mount the engine, and then that'll probably be it for this this video. And the next video will be you know, getting the start up, getting fluid in the trans. We're gonna get the all the suspension buttoned up in this video too, but it'll basically be in and be probably on the floor. I'm not sure if we're gonna do an oil change yet, but possibly, but we'll see. We're gonna put that in the car and see what happens. Alright, the motor's in. We're just gonna get everything basically buttoned up, get it all looking nice. Hook up the harness, hook up the fuel lines, put the radiator in, all that fun stuff. All the mounts are done. So yeah, we're gonna get cracking and get all this stuff ironed out. And then I just got transmission fluid, so I can put that in as well. and they're gonna do an oil change after the dyno before the first race. So we're not doing an oil change. So let's get cracking. Alright, the fuel line for the return on the stock motor, this fuel pressure regulator has actually a bigger fuel return than what is on the Z6 manifold. So I put a clamp on it and I tightened it like literally almost all the way. We're gonna see if it leaks, but I'm gonna get some fuel line to try and fix that, because I'll just replace that all, because I would much rather it not be the wrong size and actually be the right size, because that'd be proper. So also I'm going to try and get a tool, a bit, to try and get this out so that I can get a stud in here, because having two studs off, like broken on one cylinder, is like very, very bad. If we can get this one in, it can seal enough that it won't cause any crazy fluctuation in AFR, because we definitely need them things to be accurate so that we get a proper AFR you know, signal and stuff. So, but we got the fuel line hooked up. The purge that was going to the canister is now just going to the throttle body, so when the throttle body's cracked at all, any vapor in the tank will be vacuumed into the manifold. We still need a bracket for the throttle cable, because we don't have one of them. Alternators on and tensioned. Alternator wire is on. I haven't plugged in anything on the harness yet, so we got the starter in, and yeah, so I gotta run to the store, and when I come back we'll try and get this stud out, and then we'll work on getting everything plugged in. And then we have to add trans fluid, get the suspension back together, get the traction bar back on, and yeah, so it's gonna be a little bit, but we'll definitely get this thing ironed out. Alright, so I went to the store and I picked up this stud extractor, which works extremely well. You basically loosen it and it tightens down onto the stud, pulls it right out. I used it to actually take another one out of here. So we only got one that's not gonna have a bolt or a stud. That's because it's broken off inside, and I really don't have anything to get that out. So, but we have the rest of them, they're studded. So I also picked up some fuel line. I'm gonna get that replaced on the return, and then we can start plugging the harness in, and all we'll have to do is put trans fluid in it, hook the suspension up, get a throttle bracket so we can get the throttle cable hooked up, radiator, coolant, stuff like that, and then we can start it. Or that'll probably be the end of this video though, because this one's probably already kind of long. You know how my videos go, fucking 30 minutes or more. So we'll see what happens, but I'm gonna get this thing pretty much finito, and then we'll just wait until we get till dining time. Hopefully it's not too long. Alright, our 1/4 inch line works on the return. Had to clamp it down pretty tight, but we're good here. We have a return line. We have a feed line, and this is tight. We'll check for leaks whenever we prime it, but so far so good. And now we can start hooking up the harness. Still got to put trans fluid in it, all that bullshit, but let's get this harness plugged in. Alright, harness is plugged in. There are a few plugs that we don't have plugged in. Reverse, because we don't have a OBD1 reverse solenoid or reverse switch. We have OBD0 still. VTEC solenoid activation, because we don't have a VTEC solenoid. Right here is VSS, which would be electronic VSS. This is cable driven, and the fan switch, which would be on the thermostat, but we don't have it on the thermostat, and they're gonna put the fan on the switch. I just gotta tighten this ground, and then map, TPS, idle control valve, intake air temp, injector 1, 2, 3, 4, alternator, oil pressure, knock sensor, stock O2 aren't plugged in back there because we're not using those. So the harness is plugged in. We're good, guys. I'm gonna get the battery tray in. Get that buttoned up. I'm gonna grab the intake that we're gonna be using. Throw that on here. Plug up the spark plug wires, and then we should be Gucci. Alright, I think this actually might be the intake we're going to use. I tried using this one, but it just doesn't line up how it should. So like if it was sitting here, it's hold on, I'll show you. So if this intake is in here, you can see it's weird. I don't understand how this won't work on this car, which is an EF hatch, but will work in this car. Maybe this has the same issue and I'm just overlooking it or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the coupler that makes up for it or something. But yeah, I'm gonna probably just run the one that they have, that one, instead of this one, because this also looks like its inner diameter is smaller than that, which equals less airflow. So let's see what happens. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get the suspension together. I'm not gonna really cover that, and then when it's all ready, I'm gonna put the radiator in, and we'll catch back up whenever I have all that done. All right, guys, got the radiator in. I got coolant in it. Everything is plugged in other than the battery, and I don't have trans fluid in it yet. And I don't have the manifold on yet because I have to mess with that, because the exhaust we're gonna put on it has the flange coming out like horizontal, and then it's at an angle, so we have to fix that. But that'll be in the next one, guys. All the suspension's back together. This car is ready to go. Like I said, I just gotta put the header on, battery in, and hook up the shift linkage and put in trans fluid. We're gonna save that for next time, guys. Hope to catch you on the next one. Deuces.